So, you relapsed on semen retention. Good news, you came to the right place and you're making a grand step by deciding to look at a video on what to do next. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give you a couple of tips on how you can recover. But before I do that, I want you to comment down below why you are on this semen retention journey. And also, if you're bold enough, comment down below what it felt like to relapse. I can assure you that it'll bring you some good karma if you can prevent the next person from relapsing by giving them something inspiring. One man's trash is another man's treasure, some shit like that. Anyway, let's get right into it. The first thing that I recommend doing after a relapse is take a note. Take note of what it was that triggered you into a relapse. Was it a feeling of stress? Was it a fine-ass woman walking by? Or did you simply just have urges beyond control? Take note. When I say take note, I mean either write that shit down, record a voice message. I want you to not only talk about what it was that triggered you, but also take note of what it was that you felt. Did you feel disappointed? Did you feel like you failed yourself? Did you feel like you needed it even? Did you feel like you'd gone a long time in your streak and it was about time to release? Whatever it was, take note of what you feel in this current moment. I would definitely say do it immediately after busting. Maybe not immediately after, but at least shortly after, you know what I'm saying? But you want to be fresh in the moment and in the emotion so that you can really record that in time. Now, why is this important? It's important to know if you're trying to really pursue a journey that you're aware of what you feel and maybe why you don't want to relapse again. That you're aware that there are certain things that trigger you that you might want to stay away from. The next tip on how to recover from relapse is to recharge and rebuild your testosterone. How are you going to do that? The best way to do it is by doing something manly. And let me just be a little more clear. It's best to go to the gym, start working out. If you don't want to go to the gym, I completely understand. It's boring as shit. Go jogging. If that's not enough for you, do some push-ups in your own home. But you gotta find something that is rebuilding the testosterone in you, or at least makes it feel like you are. Now, all of these tips that I'm giving you are based off of my personal experience and what helped me along the way. I found that whenever I felt like I relapsed, I immediately needed to gain that strength back. So I would do some push-ups, I would go to the gym, I would go for a run, I would do little things like that to make sure that I was putting it back into my body. Pause on that, okay? Now, not like that, you know what I'm saying? But I think that it's important to recharge what you just took away from yourself in one way or another. I find that physical action and exercise is something that really helps to get back on the ball so that you don't linger in the next 4 days of just depression and feeling like, damn, unmotivated, like you just have nothing else going for you. Why is this helpful? Because like I said, it gives you energy and it basically does replace some of the blood cells that were lost, does replace all of the nutrients and the testosterone that was lost after the relapse. And once you start doing it immediately after, it's easier to build up on that. It makes it harder to relapse a second time. While I'm on the topic of working out after a relapse, I have to say, me personally, the best form of working out, especially after a relapse, is partaking in a martial art. And I have plenty of reasons on why martial arts is super good for a semen retention journey, but I think I'll save that for another video. Comment down below if you would like to see that and if this has been helpful to you so far. And while you're at it, make sure to subscribe if I am being of help and of service to you. Give me a little bit of motivation to keep on being of service to others as well. With that being said, let's move on to the third thing that I think is very crucial to do after a relapse. Once you have figured out the source of what happened to your relapse, whether it was a trigger from a pretty woman walking by, scrolling on Instagram, maybe even a wet dream, whatever the case might have been, the third thing that I think you definitely need to do is investigate and take action. Now, what does that mean? I would find any way possible to make sure that it doesn't happen the same way a second time. So in recording it and writing it down, and also knowing that you now have a solution on what to do after a relapse, you now want to plan ahead and make sure that it doesn't happen again, especially not in the same way. So what's an example of doing so? If you know that you get triggered and immediately want to go to the dirty websites, then I would go on the app store. There's certain apps that I've seen before that block the dirty websites. Like, you can turn on this app, even if you go to search it up, it just won't let you. Let's say it was an Instagram baddie, you know what I'm saying? And she was twerking on a reel and you just had to go nut it out. One way you could take action, right, is going to be a little difficult. unfollow her. You're simply gonna hit the unfollow button and make sure that you don't get triggered in the same way again. And maybe while you're at it, you can look for all the other Instagram baddies on your feed and slowly just start kicking them off too. Because you are on a mission, a journey to fulfill your life with your life force energy. And so until you get a firm lock on things, you have to start planning ahead and making sure that you don't relapse for the same silly reasons. The last bit of advice I want to tell you is pretty crucial. Simply accept the fact that you have fallen, but do not stay on the ground. Do not give up and feel like you just can't continue to retain your masculine life force energy. Once you fall down, get your ass back up and get back in the game. It's as simple as that. I know for some it might not be, but if you have purpose and you're driven, it's easier than it seems. You just gotta work for it. Once again, make sure to subscribe if I've been helpful to you, and comment down below why I've been helpful or how I've been helpful. And with that being said, gentlemen, I will see you in the next.